Hi everyone, it's Tiffany Sharp and I'm here to do a flip through of my Halloween journal. I'm really happy that I was actually able to finish the Halloween journal challenge I did every single day, which is more journaling than I've done all year, maybe even for 2 years or longer. So I'm really happy that I finished, but also it just is something that I've always enjoyed doing, but I hadn't done in a long time, like I said. And it was really nice to make that kind of a daily practice again. So let me go ahead and flip through my journal. First of all, there's a quick preview of the journal with most of the pages not done. And then, of course, I did day 2, which is pretty early on. So I have a journal with me type of video where I show you how I did everything on this page. So that's for day 2 of the Halloween journal challenge. And then I also did day 20. I got 2 prompts this year, which was fun. And I did this journal page. And so there's a full video of how I did this page also. But yeah, along with this page, I'm sure there's a flip through of pretty much what all this looked like before I started working. I think that this style of journal was really fun to work in because I had all the lacy bits and a lot of the fabrics in there already. I loved the cover. The cover was an idea that I got from April, who is the owner of A Little Creative Me on Etsy. She sells watercolor paints and also is an awesome bookmaker. So she's the one that actually inspired me to repurpose a Reader's Digest cover. And I think it turned out perfect. I loved the orange color of this. And then I did this I think I made up this binding. So I have 3 book binding books by Keith A. Smith. And I look through his books. They're a little bit tough to read and digest. However, I like to look in there to get different binding ideas. And this was something similar to what he had in one of his bookbinding books. And all right, so let me just go ahead and flip through. So the first page is just a lot of these background papers are from Tim Holtz backdrops papers from the Halloween series, the Halloween 2024 series. And then I think I threw in another series too, but can't remember what that one's called. I just put this piece of watercolor paper in there that I loosely painted some florals. And this is my title page, which is day 1. Oh, by the way, I should mention, this whole challenge is inspired and created by Kia, and she is Kia Creates on YouTube and on Instagram. So thank you so much, Kia, for having me back for the journal challenge again this year. So Kia comes up with these prompts, and this year it was a lot of fun to do. Like, half the prompts are light and half the prompts are dark or like spooky. So I really love that because I don't love spooky things. These aren't like super spooky though, so I did them all. But I love that she kind of separated them, and they work in pairs, so that was fun. All right, so this is day 2, which was Autumn Wish List. And again, I have that video where I go through that. No, these are not in order. I'm sorry. they just are not. I think next year I will try to do them in order because it got a little confusing, but I wanted the backgrounds to go with the prompts. So this is day 8, which was Falling Leaves. I ended up photocopying a lot of my watercolor leaves and putting them in here. Oh, this was a stamp that I made, actually. I carved that stamp this month. Oh, this came unstuck, but this is just a page because I had a bunch of extra pages. So some of them don't have anything to do with prompts. This is a lantern that I tried to draw and I didn't love it, so I didn't use that. I'll show you my lanterns later on. So just another fun page. This one, I love how this one turned out. And I did a lot of collage art in this book, and pretty much all the collage pages and the collaged images are from Collage Soup. I used Monster Mash, which is an ebook, and I used Bougie Boo, which is a fun book that you can get on Amazon, and it had almost all the images that I needed. It was really awesome. I love that book. I should probably grab it and show it to you. So here's the book. Of course, I've used so many pages out of this. Look at these cute little birds. I used every single owl on a different owl page than this. These are really cool owls too, but there was a page with like hats, owls with hats, and so you'll see them in my book, of course. But just a really fun book of images to collage, and of course I'll save this for next year too. I still have a lot of pages. This isn't every page, but just quick flip through a few. So that was fun to use. Oh, I love that orangey yellow color. Oh, I used one of these bats. Okay, so that is from Collage Soup. Once again, Bougie Boo. Highly recommend it. And then I had some stickers that I bought at Michael's that I used. This was a coloring book that I had from last year. It's like the Witch's Coloring Book or something like that. And I love the black and white images. I don't love coloring them in. I just like to use them as is. So this was day 13, Twilight Thunderstorm. And I challenged myself and actually painted some clouds and the lightning strikes on the black paper, which I'd never done. And it was pretty easy. It wasn't too tough. And I also did some Zentangle, and a friend of mine, MZ Creates, asked me to look over some of her books, her Zentangle, they're botanical tangles. And she also has a class that is free where you can learn Zentangle if you don't know it already. And that was a lot of fun to do. So that's where this is from, one of her botanical tangle books. And then I just painted this with some watercolors, some handmade watercolors from a person in Rome who gifted me some handmade watercolors. And I was just so touched that she sent me some watercolors that she had made by hand. It was amazing. This one is number 3, Spooky Playlist. I don't love spooky stories, so I just wrote down what I was listening to, what I was watching. I did start listening to the Ghost Story podcast, which I loved. And I did start listening to one called Camp Monsters by REI. I should write that down in there too. And they were, not super spooky, especially listening to them in the daytime. So I kind of got into spooky podcasts after doing this page, of course, but I will go back and add those in. This is Friendly Ghosts. Here's a little ghost that I painted on black paper. A little card. I think I made this card last year, but I put the sticker on. This tag, I guess it's called. I love this page. I love these witches. These were from the Bougie Boo book. Bougie Boo book. I watercolored these pumpkins and just cut them out. It's super simple. I love it. And the backgrounds are the backdrops from Tim Holtz. Then comes the page with the legs, the bird page, which I had a lot of fun making. I already showed you the tags. That was day 20. Feathered Friends was the prompt. This is day 5, and it is Witch's Brew. This page, I just loved how it turned out, and I kind of, like, I didn't really overthink it. I just kind of threw stuff on and glued them in place, and it worked pretty well, so I was really happy with that page. I think it's just because there's so much contrast. There's not a lot of different colors, but a lot of contrast. I love it. And then I hand painted these lanterns, and I thought they turned out super cute. I love how this page turned out. And then the apple orchard, these, again, I photocopied some watercolor apples. This is from a class that I teach called Appletastic, and I'll put a link to my watercolor classes too. My watercolor classes are fairly short. They're mainly geared towards beginners, but you know, if you like this style of watercolor painting, and then there's just a little bit of mixed media added in. If you like that and want to learn how to paint these, it's very simple to do. I try to stick to easy, stress-free ways of using watercolor, because I know sometimes watercolor can be frustrating. So I try to make them accessible, try to put them like at a good price that's fairly affordable, and so that's what some of these watercolors are from. And then day 15 was Restless Spirits. I also love how this page turned out. These are a lot of the Tim Holtz Halloween stickers, and the words too. And shadowed silhouettes, a lot of collage soup images. I just love how this works with the background. And then this one, so my son Jake wanted to do some painting with me one day, and I was like, oh, do you want to pick one of my prompts and paint something for me? So he chose enchanted mushrooms and painted these mushrooms. So they turned out super cute. I ended up outlining some of the gold ones just to make them stand out a little bit more, but he drew and painted them. He's 14. So it was kind of fun to spend a little time with him and do some art. We hadn't done that in a while. We used to do watercolor painting and things like that together all the time, but you know, as they get older, it's hard for them to find time to sit down with mom. So that was kind of nice that we got to do something together. This is a art foamy stamp created by Megan Quinlan, and I call her Harvest Girl. I think she's meant to be more of like a winter holiday type of paper doll, but I love to use her for autumn. She reminds me of fall. And the prompt was Harvest Moon, so I've got like garlic and shallots and things like that I cut out. And then I have these, I had to paint 2 of these moons because the first time I did it was so much fun. I think I did 3 of them. Maybe we'll find another one somewhere else, but these were really fun to paint. They have kind of an iridescent shimmer to those paints. And then this one is Cozy Nook, and I did a little bit of writing journaling in here. I've got a little pocket, which is, you know, it's cozy. It's a little place to hide things, which is what I feel like a nook is. So I chose to do some journaling about that. And I think I made this a few years ago. So I've had this around for a long time. And then, okay. So I had this quilt. It was a quite a large quilt, maybe like a 24 inch by 24 inch, where I had done some paper piecing. They're like log cabin blocks and kind of intricate blocks, but I never really used it for anything. I don't display my quilts or anything like that, so I decided to just cut it up into leaf shapes and add that into my journal and use it for soft textures, because I felt like, you know, quilts are so cozy and soft. That's one thing I love about art journaling, is I can take crafts that I had done in the past and incorporate them into art journaling, and then I feel like I can make use of the things that are kind of sitting around from, you know, from all those other crafts that I've done, like knitting and quilting and scrapbooking, and there's quite a few. Those are the main ones, I guess. This is a card I made a long time ago, a couple years ago maybe. So I just found that in my stash. This one is Warm Hues. I love how this turned out. And I found some stickers from a sticker book that I had barely used. So I was really happy to find a use for the stickers. I did go around them with a little bit of watercolor because it was so white, so much white around the edges. And that's why they're not sticking all that great. But after they get jammed in here for a few months, it'll stick much better. And then I added some more leaves and things to it. So yep, see, these are those cute little owls I was talking about. So this one is Witching Hour. I had this spider fabric. It was part of my daughter's Halloween costume, and I just, when she outgrew it and wanted to, you know, be done with that, I just cut this part off and saved it because I thought that would be fun. And here's the number 19 I stuck behind this fabric. But I've got like watches and clocks and that kind of stuff for the hour part of it. And then this cute little witch kid. I chose the kid because, you know, when my kids were little, and now that I have a puppy, there definitely is that term witching hour that applies to children, and yes, even puppies, when they start to go a little bit crazy in the evenings because they're a little overstimulated or whatever. And so whenever I hear witching hour, that's what I think of. And then this one, Midnight Ritual. These are also from that coloring book, and I did do a little bit of coloring and painting on those. Thought that was fun, just to like cut out different witch themed things. I think this is sage, which I do grow a lot of sage and I don't do anything with. I should bundle it up and dry it, but then what? I don't like to burn things, so I should make some sort of dye with them though. Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. This page is part of the pumpkin spice prompt, of course. And this is a little watercolored cup that I had made a bunch of cups, and I used one of them in here, but I really loved painting the coffee cups. So I kind of went off on a little coffee cup painting tangent there, but I love painting these kind of leaves on there too. So I went and incorporated some of that on that page. Oh, I haven't done the very last one yet, October Reflections. I've been saving this because I just wanted to write down at the very end of the month, and it's not the very end of the month yet. I have like 3 more days to go until it actually is October 31st. But I am going to, you know, just like on my own, write down a few highlights of this month, things that I want to remember, and that kind of stuff. So that's why that tag is blank. This is another one of those pages that isn't anything. It was just extra pages I had. This one, I don't love how this one turned out, but I think it's just because I don't love the look of the ripped edges on everything, because I really tried hard to get as many ripped edges as I could. But then I thought it would be fun to do kind of a play on words and use the word rip as R-I-P. So I put the little R.I.P. headstone there. And I thought that this was, you know, this is roughly ripped. So that was a good page for that. And day 25, I love the colors on this page. Secret Lair. The paper, the backdrop paper here was a map. So that's the secret layer part. Oh, here's another of those moons. That's the third moon I was talking about. The rest of it doesn't really go with secret layer. I just put some Halloween themed things in there because I had a hard time with what to do with that. I guess I could have hidden it or something, but I was struggling. So I just felt like the map is enough. And then this one is Cozy Layers. I did a lot of just fabric layered on top of each other. I did a lot of sewing and stitching with my sewing machine on that. And of course, layered inside of another pocket, layers on here. Poisoned fruit. I had my apples again. These stickers. This one is Dark Forest. Again, I had a tough time. I just used the background. This is a collage soup, one of those pages. So I'm leaning very heavily on just that, pretty much. I thought this was a nice kind of a spooky house you might run into in the middle of the woods. This one is Gnarled Branches, and this is another one of those Zentangles. This one is called Pendrils, and that was fun to do. Oh, Haunted Fairground. I actually looked up these images and printed them out because I didn't have anything, and I was really stuck on this. So I just looked up Haunted Fairgrounds. And I printed out those pictures, and then I got the collage soup books out and just cut out these guys that I thought were extremely spooky. So not much else going on there. I mean, I had the bats already from when I made the book and the background, so didn't have to do much else. And then that's just nothing, no prompt on that page, just the last page, and I just stuck a little tag that I had made a few years ago in this little pocket. When I was working in the book, I had all my prompts and stuff already printed out, like these things and these I had them all printed out, and I had them in this pocket. So this pocket was very, very handy, very functional. Okay. That is it. Oh, I did want to tell you this piece of fabric here was eco printed, and I really enjoy eco printing. So that is something that's going to be a class that I'm going to have, not for a long time, but sometime I will. So thank you so much, everyone, for looking through my book. I just really enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed doing this last year. I really enjoyed doing this again this year. So thanks again, Kia, for inviting me and to collaborate. And thank you, everyone else. You know, the collaborators for this challenge, they're all so sweet. And you guys can check out all of their videos too. There's a new video for every single day. So go check out their stuff too. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.